The writer who works in this building wears many hats. Writer, director, producer, even actor. But it wasn't until he figured out how to navigate the unfamiliar terrain of Hollywood that he found real success. Nominated for 2 Primetime Emmys, the writer who works here is Doug Ellin. I'm Jeff Berman, and you've just entered the right environment. What is it about writing that you can't learn? You either have it or you don't.
Again, a unique voice. I mean, you can't learn it, but there's a lot to writing that you can learn. There's a lot of there's a lot of structure, especially in the television world, that I think people can learn, and you can learn to emulate it and stuff. But you can't teach a unique voice. You either have that or you don't.
What kind of educational background did you have in writing?
In writing, none really. I mean, I went to Tulane University in New Orleans. I was an English major, but I don't think I actually did any writing there, or much of anything else. Listened to a lot of music there, but I don't think I did anything else. And at AFI, I was directing, so not much. My biggest education on writing has come from reading books, reading screenplays, and watching them.
So where do you think that unique ear for dialogue comes from?
I don't know. I mean, it's always been, since I was a kid, it was a thing to me. I'd watch movies, I'd remember them. I remember watching The In-Laws when I was 11, 12 years old. I had the whole movie memorized, and I used to do that with movies all the time. I was just very into how people spoke, and
Did you run around going Serpentine a lot?
Serpentine's the obvious one. If you really watch that movie, that's like the big thing. But if you watch that movie 50 times, Serpentine becomes one of the bigger things. The words of every scene in that movie, I think it's one of the best comedy screenplays ever. And
Peter Falk and Alan Arkin were brilliant in that film.
Yeah, it's just genius. So I remember, buying. There was a book. When they turned movies into books, they turned The In-Laws into one of those little novellas, and I had it in a supermarket when I was 12, and I just used to read all the lines about tsetse flies, which is, some of it's come back on Entourage. I had Ari use, that was his code word, tsetse fly, which was from, The In-Laws.
Big as bats.
Yeah.
Come down and swoop small children off, and their wings are
take
clutches.
Them away to an almost certain death. Yeah.
So when you actually write, when you sit down to physically write, do you have any kind of rituals that you go through?
No. I mean, again, at this point, I mean, it used to really... Writing, which it hasn't become joyful at this point, but it used to be serious torture. I mean, the first, even into the second season of the show, it's just like, God, I'd know what the scene is, and it would just, the idea of doing it was so painful and difficult. Now it's become a job, I sit down, I do 3 hours, and I feel good if people think the pages are working, which is what I do. I give it out to everyone here, and if it's working, I feel good. If they tell me it's not, I feel bad, and I go back in here and look at it again.